everyone, it is Dani and welcome to this update video. I hope you guys are doing really great, and we're going to be taking a look at what is happening out there. And as we look at this graphic from NHC, there you can see Ophelia about to make its way into North Carolina completely, and there's also Invest 90L, and we're going to be talking about these systems as well as what is happening across the Caribbean and what is expected today in terms of rainfall. So going on to these satellite imagery, there you can see Ophelia up there making her way in, and so I will be looking at this cyclone in a bit of detail momentarily, but there we have 90L as well, and then another tropical wave making its way off the African coast. Many models have been sniffing at this one, trying to develop into something behind 90L. We'll wait and see how that goes. And across the Caribbean, there is some activity for some areas. So let's go ahead and zoom in, and here we can see lots of showers and thunderstorms across parts of the Bahamas, even going to South Florida, especially the Keys, and even for Cuba and just in the vicinity of the Cayman Islands, even going to the southern portion of the Dominican Republic. We also see that there is some thunderstorm activity there, so quite a bit of moisture in the area inducing all these showers and thunderstorms. Not a whole lot happening elsewhere. It should be a pretty sunny morning for the most part. But then as we head through today, let's take a look at this rainfall forecast map from Euro. So the more colorful areas of oranges, reds indicate more rainfall, so these areas here are likely to receive substantial rainfall, and we're already seeing that for some spots. Sections of southern Florida, going to the Bahamas, maybe even the Turks and Caicos Islands, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, sections of Hispaniola, and even parts of Jamaica, especially northern parishes, based on what Euro has to show. And a lot of heavy rainfall in a short amount of time can trigger flooding, guys, so please be mindful of that. And should that take place for you, please do not take any unnecessary risks. We also see that some substantial rainfall is likely in sections of eastern Panama, going down to Colombia, Venezuela, and even into Guyana. But for most other areas elsewhere across Central America and in portions of Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and through the Lesser Antilles, might experience some passing showers here and there, maybe a heavier downpour in some spots, but nothing too crazy is expected through today. Again, ABC Islands in that little dry pocket, so much is not expected for you guys. Now we want to go ahead and talk about our systems, and we're kickstarted with Ophelia. So here's a close look at the tropical storm, and we can see that it is making its way in. As we head on to the cone forecast, here you can see that that shaded area representing the extent of those tropical storm force winds is affecting North Carolina, even the most easterly side of South Carolina as well, and then eventually other states such as Virginia, heading into Maryland, Delaware, even for New Jersey and sections of Pennsylvania will feel impacts from the system as it makes its way through, head into later today and into tomorrow as well. But once it moves inland, it is going to rapidly weaken because it will be cut off from its source of fuel and energy, which is those very warm waters off the Atlantic. So once it is going to be moving inland, it's going to be weakening quickly, and it should become post-tropical by tomorrow morning. So we'll see what eventually happens with it. But those tropical storm conditions, those tropical storm force winds, and even potentially gusting up to hurricane in some spots in North Carolina, along the coast of North Carolina, that's possible as well. The storm surge, which may induce coastal flooding and also heavy rainfall at times. And so please be safe, guys, as the system makes its way in. And now we're moving on to 90L. Here we can see still given that high 90% chance of development through the next 7 days, and through the next 48 hours or 2 days it is given a high 80% chance of development. So maybe as we head into the next 2 days or sooner, sometime early into next week, it will acquire that tropical depression, eventually tropical storm status, and that curve up is expected before it can get a chance to make its way to the Caribbean. So we're seeing some consistency with this, and thus it is looking quite likely that that will be the case, and it will not be bringing any significant impacts to the Caribbean. But as I always say, the system is still some days out, and we still want to watch it. And now heading on to some model data. So as you look at the track guidance, here we can see that a couple of members want to take the system further to the west, and most of them though want to take it up to the north, making that curve sooner rather than later. And then in terms of intensity, we can see that a couple of models are showing that, hey, the system is going to be struggling to make it to tropical storm status, but the majority expect gradual intensification of it over the course of the coming days, and eventually it is going to become a hurricane. So that is certainly possible with a conducive environment. And as we take a look at the system on satellites, here you can see that it is trying to get itself together nicely out there. So we'll see what eventually happens with it as we head through today. And of course, I'm here to keep you guys posted on it. So again, the next name for this season is PHILIPPE, which this disturbance here 90L is likely to attain. And then eventually, as we head into next week, models show development of that next tropical wave moving off the African coast, but that one might not be a problem for the Caribbean. And also there are even some hints that we could see something try to form in the Western Caribbean. So I'll be going into more details in future updates, guys, but that is pretty much it for now. And I hope you found this video to be quite informative. But if you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments. I'll respond once I get the chance to do so. And as always, remember to be weatherwise.